Try not to violate.
I'm not. I'm going to be super fair as usual. All right, we're good. Hold on. It says that we're going, but let me just make sure that we are live.
Mine says live.
All right. All right. So here we are. Beautiful. This is the Dave and Dave Show, episode 86. 86 like the Mets. 86 like at a restaurant when you 86.
86.
Chicken fingers. Chicken fingers are 86th.
86, that person at the bar, they drank too much.
86th. The year my wife was born, 86.
Oh, that's funny. And I was born in 66, so I was 21.
You're such a pain in the ass. All right. So we are David Ronald Tina, David Julius Tina, and this is the Dave and Dave Show. A lot to unpack today. We have at 2 o'clock is the deadline for the election results. Thankfully, it's only a 2.5 day process. I remember when you and I ran, it was like a 19-day process.
Yeah, like till you thought you were going to die after the whole election.
The whole point of bringing it down from 11 or 19 days to 2.5 was so that there wouldn't be a lot of drama. Obviously, that didn't work.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. Lots of drama, lots of nonsense.
A lot of airing of dirty laundry.
A lot of accusations. And, so I wrote, why is the Las Vegas Realtors Association board broken? It's been broken for a while. And there's multiple ways of looking at it. A really good friend of mine who's been, I mean, it really doesn't hurt saying, Dave Sanders said a great point. He said, I'll give him credit where credit's due. He said, if I said to you that we were going to have a corporation that has a $15 million a year budget with over 40 employees and 15,000 members, how would you fill that corporation's board of directors?
I would fill it, not elect it. And I would fill it with competent people that you knew were trained and knew what they were doing in the business.
So that's part of the game. I mean, like, I made some notes here and.
Well, does a bank, Dave, how does a bank fill their board of directors? They don't vote to see who's the most popular person, but who's the most qualified to run a mega corporation.
And, there's also, they recruit people onto the board so that there's not conflicts of interest. You're not living in the bubble. You get outside perspectives from people who own companies and who are leaders in other industries. And these people get paid to come in and sit on the board. And, one of the major issues, the reason why I got out of the entire thing is unfortunately, people don't have the training, but that's not even the biggest problem because you can overcome experience. I believe that they're putting the significance of the title ahead of the need for the performance, the need for doing the right thing. And here's the reality. I was only 39 when I became president-elect, and I had only been on the board 1.5 years when I ran.
Wow. I was 59.
When you were, yes, you're actually not lying this time.
No, I'm not. You're
lying. You're lying. You are lying. You are lying. You were 61. So,
my math was bad. Sorry.
So there's the difference. You were all your years of experience, all your years of being of an agent, you owned a restaurant with 3 other people, you owned a business. You were able to bring all of that knowledge. You had been general manager of a company. You opened a company. You're already in process of that. So you were like very, very qualified to be in the position. The honest truth is, if I hadn't had the gift of being an owner of a real estate company, number one, the gift of being a broker at the age of 30 to 39, right? And me pushing myself in all of these different leadership roles and things I've taken, certifications, Vistage, CEO stuff.
Mhm.
Even with all of that, I got to experience the perspective of president through your lens because you went through it. So while I'd like to think that I did a good job or a great job, without having you, not even, I mean, you definitely gave me your opinion, but I was able to watch you do it to really be able to understand.
Yeah, and you were in the room while it went on.
Exactly, exactly. So, and even then, some of these things I had to learn as I went. So, really, we don't treat this board of directors that we have as like it's a real corporation. We treat it as a volunteer organization. We don't treat it as a business. And unfortunately, it becomes more DMV than this innovative entity it needs to be.
Well, the only good thing I will say is from what you just said, at least we were confident on the position of who we picked due to the experience that you just said. If you look at our choices of Brandon for president, owns his own company, second company he owns, CEO, has run it, has been on the board, prior experience of sitting on the board, proven leader on the board. Great pick. He fits a lot of what you just said. And then if you go to your red for treasurer, one of the prerequisites to be treasurer is to be on finance, and she sat finance and a prior board director and a broker of her own company. Again, fits that leadership role. And then you get Chipman, Christina Chipman, who is president of the WCR, volunteers, ran the company, runs her own personal business, is one of the biggest businesses in town. She fits too. So the part I feel really comfortable about is at least the people that we felt we endorsed are competent enough to fill those positions. It wasn't our choices weren't a popularity contest. It was based on the criteria, which you just said.
Yeah, I mean, you're a loyalist, but even when we had back in the day with a couple of our agents, one's no longer with us. I didn't support one of the agents. That's probably one of the reasons why she's no longer with us. And she's proven to me that she's incompetent as a board of director as well. So, but I supported our other agent who unfortunately didn't win. So that is part of it. So my first recommendation to the board would be, and we've done this on the MLS, but we never filled the position, is you got to leave some positions open and pay people to come in. You have to. You have to. And you got to treat it, we've talked about it. It cannot be the lowest common denominator that this board is going to be, this association is going to be, I would get into arguments in the room and I'd say, are we in the business of getting more members, or are we growing the membership, or are we in the business of growing each individual member? And I got a lot of pushback because I thought, I still feel to this day, and we do this at our agency, at our company, that is, we're more in the business of growing the individual's business rather than growing the amount of individuals we have. And when you become just a membership-based group, like unfortunately from NAR down, it becomes, I just want to secure my position, secure my job, and secure my place of significance and go up the ranks, rather than making differences in each individual person you have. The decision shouldn't be, we got to make sure membership is growing. The decision should be, we got to make sure that our members are succeeding.
Right. And an interesting fact from being on the outside, and I don't think this happened your year, but just the fact that the board did not, when I was on the presidency, I hired Dave Sanders with Nelson as CEO at the time. Just not to want an attorney at on the board meetings and at the board meetings, so showed me the path was going crooked. Because anything you do for the membership, you want to bet right there and then that it's legal and right and ethical. And your attorney leads that path for you by saying, oh, don't, RESPA, there's, antitrust. I don't understand that move in itself. So that was interesting when that happened.
And also, the CEOs of all, whether it's local, state, or national, they get put in a really bad position, because rather than being empowered to be an innovator and speak up like a CEO should, they have to go into survival mode, because if they don't keep people happy, they just get rid of. Like, I think every CEO's contract should be guaranteed so that the next regime doesn't come in and be like, this isn't my CEO. Like you're like me and you talk about it all the time. Why hire Georgia or Jennifer if we don't let them be empowered and go? Then we might as well just do it ourselves. So there's some really unfortunate ways that it's built that prevent it from being that bar that everyone compares itself to, and that innovative group. Because the reality is, outside forces that are becoming inside forces, they have gazillions of dollars, major corporations, they run like businesses, and you can't compete if we're just sitting here running it like the DMV.
What I find interesting, Dave, to your point, when we talk about CEOs and we talk about rules, we are nothing more than like a parent company is NAR, and then the state. Does the state have attorney and NAR have attorneys sitting at the board meetings? They do. So just taking that, does the NAR have a CEO review that is not the board of directors, but rather a group that judge and decide if that's they do. So,
but even NAR should have been what Zillow and Redfin and Open Door. NAR should be at that table. They should be in capital raising, innovation. They should be at front and center. They should be looking rather to sell technology, buy in, right? But they let the inmates run the asylum. Unfortunately, they let the membership.
Right, membership.
Like Realtor.com became a failure and had to be sold because the membership never let it succeed.
But
NAR should have been like, wait a minute, we have the person at the time, we have someone from Apple, we have somebody from Google, we on our board of directors, we have somebody. They should have had, rather than fight Zillow, they should have had Zillow in the room collaborating.
Right. And hindsight is 2020, and they realized the mistakes they did, and they're trying to update it. 20 years ago, we weren't as smart as we are now. But that's going off the subject.
It's trying to turn a 1986 Ford Taurus into a 2020 Tesla. It's not happening. You got to throw the whole car out and start over. Like, it's just not happening. And and I know it. The reason why I bailed out is because I said, how much difference can I make if I continue going up the ladder? And I realized it was just going to be for my ego to be getting in these positions, and I wasn't going to be able to move the needle. And the minute you're out of that echo chamber, you might as well have leprosy. You're a leper.
That is true.
What, am I making you feel uncomfortable?
I think we're going off the subject.
We're not going off it, because we need to talk about this. Like, for instance, this is going to be a not fun thing to talk about, but guess what? Every board of director should take a background check, credit check, everything.
On NAR, you do.
So tell them what you had to do to be the regional vice president
Okay, so little known, even to me when I ran for the position, to be a regional vice president for NAR, you have to have a credit check, a background check, and then every 3 months they write you and say, did you file your taxes? Do you owe money on your taxes? Have you been arrested? Have anything changed other than this background check that we should know about it? And you swear and sign to this every quarter. And I will be getting one in October for the last quarter, and come middle November 12th, I'm gone. But they still made you do that to ensure that you are legit. They take your score for your credit to see if you've had bankruptcies. You can't have anything in the last 7 years, bankruptcies, foreclosures, short sales. They are really, really strict. It's done right.
There's a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of noise from people who really don't want background checks done on them. And I love the deflection, accuse other people of doing something when,
Right.
ooh, you better hope they don't look under your hood, baby. And the beauty of you and I is once we got out of the mafia in '86, we got all that expunged and no, I'm just kidding. The joke is the two Italians from New York are squeaky clean. That's the joke of it all. And I'm not here to judge. We all have a past, we all have a life. But man, you better come with some humility.
Yeah. Instead of accusing other people.
Unbelievable. And then, man, like, why are we not raising the bar in the beginning? And a lot of the times, like, I know we had the conversation with the candidates last week, but maybe not to get on the board, but to be on the executive team, treasurer, vice president, president, maybe you should have the 2 years you spent on the board, you should have went to, there's board accreditations. Like you could go to get an accreditation on how to be a board of director. These are for people that want to get on board of directors of Ronald McDonald House, and you could get paid. And you get to be like part of this innovative and like outside the box thinking, interesting group. Maybe we should have that level, right? Whether there's experience requirements, accreditation requirements, background check requirements, because the reality is here we are fighting over such petty shit. And the reality is while we fight, or they fight, over where you get to hold the installation and who could run for the board, this industry is getting innovated and everyone's coming into the back door and no one's watching.
The important stuff is passing us by.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's just the same. So what are some of the other things that I wrote? All right, we talked about that. So listen, I don't even believe it's the fault of the board, but if I can make one decision, I would say A, consultants, number one, outside the industry. B, bring in people, board of directors outside the industry, pay them 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever you got to pay them, bring them in. And then the last one's probably going to be a little unpopular because I look at it through the lens of you and I, and yes, I'm completely biased and we are committed to the two things I think everyone should be committed to. The two things you need to be committed to be at Urban Nest. We do the work and we do the right thing. Okay. But I think that the broker, the owners should also have a say, because people don't realize that at any time you and I can call 10 other brokers or owners of big companies and have a meeting of the 5 families. I mean, NAR had to deal with this. It's called Upstream. Five large owners like Keller and Remax, whatever, they came together and said, if you don't work with us, we'll go do our own thing.
Do our own thing, yeah.
There's nothing that says that you can't. Now, here's the thing. I know there are the fear mongers, and one guy in particular, which I think is ironic, blow up the MLS. Meanwhile, if it blew up the MLS, his unique model would be crushed. But you always said don't blow it up, because what will happen is you basically end up with the same association. You're just redoing it, right?
Yep.
It's like, remember with, for those of you fans of Katniss Everdeen, right? At the end, when she's going to, I'm giving away, spoiler alert,
Hunger Games.
the Hunger Games, she's going to end President Snow, who was the dictator, right? And she realizes in that moment that the new lady is just as bad as President Snow. Boom, she goes up and she kills her instead, because you were replacing one monster with the same monster, right? And what we have to be careful of, if we start saying blow up the MLS, blow up everything, we replace one monster with a new monster. We got to fix what we have. And that is why I am a single issue voter. And I don't know if the current board of directors, the next board of directors, or even the staff can pull this off. And you know what my single issue is, right? Front-facing website. And they have this search ready to go, but it's got to be on the level of the Realtor.coms, the Zillows, the Redfins. If it doesn't look like that, you're wasting your money. You got to commit, because there's going to be nothing left to fight over in 5 to 10 years.
All the commercials, I've been watching them since we've had this conversation, and all the commercials send you to the website. What is the website doing right now? Because all the commercials are
The
heading.
website, Wendy's the CEO. I still like, she was this, her first year was my presidency. I love Wendy, and I believe she gets it, wants it, and is capable of doing it. Little EOS, right? And what I said to her, we still talk, as I said, I think it's a great start, but you got to have a board that backs you, and you got to have a budget to be able to make it, because you need the marketing, which we're starting to have, commitment. There was the name change. It's easier to search Las Vegas Realtors than it is Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtors. That was my big fight. Like, everyone was like, oh, Henderson. I'm like, I love Henderson, but people are going to search for Las Vegas homes, right?
I was on that PAG or whatever with you, and when you had the guys come in and they said, what do people search? And they go, Las Vegas real estate. And 97% just type in Las Vegas real estate. There was fights on that, which was so stupid, because once you had the professionals tell you what it was, and once you own a business, and if we owned that, we would have said change it now, because that showed the power of that name. So even when we sat there and board of members said, oh, but Henderson, Mesquite, Boulder City, I was like, are you not listening to what these people are saying?
So this was the grand plan. This was my grand plan, and every dumb president, and they're going to say it's me too, takes credit. Like, you're the first one who said let's do a new building.
Yeah, I never hear that.
Then Haiti says she was the one. Keith says he was the one. I sold the building. Chris moved in the building, right? The reality is, even the Giants and the Jets play in New Jersey. But what are the name of the football teams? The New York Giants and the New York Jets. They were never going to call the Raiders the Henderson Raiders. If you're in Italy and someone asks you where you're from, go, oh, I'm from Henderson, or I'm from North Las Vegas, or I'm from Pahrump. You say I'm from Las Vegas or near there. So that was step number one, because we had to win, or at least compete on the SEO, search engine optimization game.
Which that is it.
And then a rebrand, new building, raise the bar. Professional building, agents hopefully be professional to meet the standards of the building, right? Then you have to have that front-facing website. You got to be able to, which we talked about this last week, but I want to be clear. If I'm sitting on my couch and I'm sending my buddy a listing that he wants to get pictures of, it's got to be as easy as me going to realtor.com and just pushing a little text. Like I do it to you all the time, right? I'm looking at a house in Newport, I'm looking at a house in Utah. I just text it right to you off of realtor.com. It's gotta be that easy. If it's not, forget it. And this isn't even like antitrust. Like I'm very cognizant of that game. We're not trying to eliminate anyone. It's a
No.
competitive game.
And the interesting fact, Dave, of what you're saying is when speaking to all the people running, they're all saying that using that as a platform, that they want the same thing. So my answer to you is let's hope that no matter who wins, that becomes the goal for 21 and 22 to put us on the top in that way. So,
but here's my reluctance of faith.
good way.
You've been in the room. People passionately debate the direction of what should be done. You have to sift through people's agendas, people wearing the hat of their company versus the hat of what's best for the industry. And then once you get past all of that, finance, budgetary concerns, then what happens is it falls flat on the implementation. Listen, coming soon listings was my baby.
Right.
And the marketing to the agents, if you don't continue showing time, if you don't continue marketing these things and showing them how, forget it. I mean, even owning a company, right? If we decide we have Cloud CMA, for instance, we have SkySlope. We can't just go, oh, we have SkySlope, we have Cloud CMA, go use it. Our usage rate would be like 5%. We have to then continually teach, continually market, continually show our agents how to use it, why to use it, when to use it. If you don't do that with the association, all that arguing, all that vision, all that debate, all that passion is a waste. And then people go, wow, I didn't even know we had a front-facing website.
Right. Now, to your point, though, your prior point, I'm just going to tell you, again, this is the first time I've been on an NAR considered executive board. I got an email from them this week that I had to sign, and it states, do I or any relative or family member or associate have any relationship, financial benefit to the lockbox company, to this, to anything I voted on in the year of 2020, I had to thus swear that I had no relationship, was an employee, benefited financially to anything I did in 2020. Can that current board sign that right now? No. So sending out a text and giving a party shouldn't win an election. And yet it did. And I have personally nothing against that board member, but it's a conflict of interest. No matter how you look at it, it's a conflict of interest. NAR would not allow that. And he would have had to sign that notarized thing like I did saying I'm not. And you can't. So you can't recuse yourself from these decisions. You are not allowed to be on their board if any of these things are a conflict. Again, we don't have that.
But even so, all right, NAR definitely makes it more difficult, but they're still not having the brightest minds, consultants, tech people, marketing people. They're, that's who we are. There's no call to action. It's just trying to market to how a realtor is the realtor name. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot brag about 1.5 million realtors and at the same time say it is the highest level of professionalism in the business. That, to me, are competing things. Like, it falls flat. You cannot have commitment to excellence and make it so easy to get and make it voluntary. Like someone make a stand and say, you don't do this, you're not a realtor, get out. But it is what it is. So that kind of thought process, that kind of culture will permeate all the way down. And that's why we're broken. And the board of directors should be the best of us,
Agreed.
the best of us,
Well,
and held to the highest standards.
I
Highest.
agree.
Because they're making, like, I could say to you, we had these conversations, well, screw it. What are they going to screw up? They're going to do some volunteering. They're going to give some money to the lobbyists, but they can screw it up. They can screw up the MLS. They can screw up the front-facing website. They can screw up the contracts. There are some things that can really make it tough as owners of a company to run fully. But at the same time, I rather have the MLS in place. I rather have the professional standards in place. I rather have the legislative body in place. But if it's not functioning correctly, we got a problem.
Agreed.
Which leads us to the next issue.
Which is?
The topic today on Inman, Housing Wire, Real, all the sites. This is the headline. Zillow to hire agents as employees for iBuyer transactions.
Goodbye independent contractor status on that.
Also, they're now a brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
A true brokerage in 3. So they're going to say in every market they have iBuying, which we're one of them. Although for once, they're not rolling it out in our market, which I would be interested. Are they not rolling it out because we're getting hitting harder by the pandemic, or you know what I mean? They're doing it in I think I heard Tucson, Fort Lauderdale, Phoenix, right?
Thank God, finally not us.
But it's back to, listen, nothing against Zillow, nothing against Realtor.com, nothing against Redfin. Like, they all have the right to do this. Everyone has a right to become a brokerage, open door, the whole thing. But man, it's ironic how we can't leverage them, but they're gonna leverage the MLS. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I get it. Like, it makes sense to have your listings on all of these syndication sites and have them prominently displayed, because that's the best protection for your client. So I don't think this is a repeal and replace, right? I think this is let's just compete.
Well, I have a question for you. If you're looking for a house in Houston, Texas, where would you go to look for it?
I'd go onto Houston's website, but here's the problem. I'd be curious to see if Houston and Texas in general, what's happening is I may not even bother now to put in Houston homes for sale. It may be too late. I potentially bypassing that and just putting in Zillow, Redfin, and Realtor.com. The Houston one, here's how you do this. What you do is you do a marketing campaign to all of your agents in your membership. You start saying to your 15,000 realtors, start telling your clients to search the homes on LasVegasRealtor.com. 15,000 realtors are going in to pay dues through that website. The SEO should go to the top. You make that website the spot where all realtors are using, local businesses are marketing on. Now, I don't have to win. Maybe I'm not going to win in California. Maybe I will. Maybe the association then says, start your search
right
on LasVegasRealtor.com. Do your billboards in California, Southern California, whatever. But then you're going to have agents go, nope, you're getting in my way. So they got no problem with Zillow, Realtor.com, and whatever marketing, but God forbid the association gets in their way. So cut your nose, spite your face.
In the end, if they market it well and have a great site, it'll be adapted. So that's why the money of our dues has to go to that. That's reality.
Well, let's reverse engineer it. What if we called Gafford, Brandon, Hamrick, Mark Stark? I mean, I guess I'd have to call, but whatever. And I said, hey, let's all market together and do a search together. All our listings in, we all pay our own way, and we market it together. And we create this corporation that markets our listings together. Guess what that is? It's the freaking MLS.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And the little guys who only have 5 agents, they get represented as well, as they should. Right? And basically, you're just taking that back end of the MLS that all the agents can see and flipping it around and
Make
making
it public facing.
And guess what? The back end, and I love CoreLogic, I love the people over there, but they don't have enough competition. I've said the back end use should be as easy to use as the front end. There really shouldn't be that big of a difference
between the two. Just the information only a broker could get. That's it.
And even then, like you hold back that information, obviously, that is just agent to agent, right? Kind of like executive session of a board of director meeting.
Yeah.
But how awesome would it be? And I'm giving Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, all of them the kill shot with this comment. All they have to do is make it easy. All they have to do is create an MLS and make it easy to input a listing, and it's game over. It's game over. You get what I'm saying on this?
I do.
Like imagine if I just said, oh, I'm going to input my listing. I'm just going to put in the parcel number and everything will auto-populate. And all I got to do is upload the pictures from my phone and write in the agent-to-agent remarks and the description of the house. Done, listing in. And then I share it with all my people on social media. It's shared front-facing. There's a coming soon where, guess what? Maybe the front-facing website gets it for 20 days first. Whatever, right? So this isn't rocket science, but you put 15 people with single agendas, competing agendas in a room, then you don't get it.
Hard to get it through. Yeah. Though we didn't, they used to make fun of Dave and I as presidents because we would have an 8 or 9 hour meeting. But the reason we got so much done is because everyone got their opinion. And then when everyone listened rationally to everyone else's opinion, the outcome of the points or the projects we were doing all made sense because it was vetted. And even the people that were screaming the loudest may have realized I'm going in the wrong direction. So though I'm not saying I want to spend my day at the board, that vetting created great outcomes for the future of the board.
Listen, being a leader is a servant position. If you think it's anything other than that, then you should not be a leader. It's a commitment. It isn't all unicorns and rainbows, baby. I mean, you're not riding a unicorn on top of the rainbow, like my daughters like to say.
Which they love to do.
But here's the thing. You said there's no room. I say in our board meetings, there's nowhere to hide. We're going to expose you pretty quickly. There's nowhere to hide. If you have a dissenting opinion, we want to hear it, but don't try to hide it, but try behind some BS agenda, right? Because you're going to be called out. Mm-hmm. We're going to cut through the nonsense and let's go. And that's where, again, you need consultants, not a parliamentarian. You need a consultant in there to keep you on track. You don't need a strategic plan once every 2 years. I mean, we hired someone to do a strategic plan once every 3 months, right? With follow-ups and everything. And we're not nearly the size of that company. Am I wrong?
You're right.
You stay on that strategic plan every 3 months, and it isn't, oh my God, I got to sit here for 6 months. That planner should be in the board of director meeting. And then have, maybe you call someone from Switch and you say, we'll give you 80,000 a year.
And not like our planning that we do our with all the ideas and programs we've listened to for the last 20 years.
Some hack from NAR who's going to sit there and waste your time, and you're going to need 5 cups of coffee to friggin' stay awake because they're going to tell you how board of directors should work. No, you need people in there. So, I mean, listen, we can pontificate all we want. We're not on the board of directors. I joke and I say all the time, like, send me an invoice and I'll be your consultant, baby. But even me joking around, or you, we're biased, right? I mean, I do believe that the board should have a direct contact to the 5 families. When I joke around about the 5 families, if you ever watch The Godfather, there's multiple mafia families, right? And when they have meetings about everything, they get everyone in one room. Got to be careful because that's a great time to get whacked, right? But when I say the meeting of the 5 families, I'm saying you get some of the biggest brokerages around and you have conversations with them. They're representing probably 25 to 30 to 40% of the association. Then you also bring in small brokers and everything.
Right, then you get the small brokers and you tell their perspective, and then you come to a cumulative decision that makes the right decision for every end of the board. That's like when you go to NAR, and again, I don't want to quote it, but their meetings are broken up in large, medium, and small brokerages because the issues for all 3 groups are different. So they take 3 meetings and then they merge their issues and come out with a strategic plan based on those 3 groups, right? And then don't get me wrong, they also have a committee that's the 75 top residential brokerages in the United States, and they come up with the plan that fits them. So they're doing a lot of things right that maybe we should follow, but I do agree with you that on the issues, we should go into the issues of real estate more than anything else. Deal with iBuyers, deal with everything that could affect the way real estate is done. It makes sense.
Well, when you get these entities that are so large, to maneuver the Titanic out of the way of the iceberg, it takes a tremendous force. To maneuver 15,000 realtors, so what I'm saying is start throwing the things off the ship that don't matter. Just throw them out and start moving this thing faster. Do we need to spend 100,000? Yes. But even the way they do charity, it's usually somebody's personal charity. Like
they did away with that. They did away with that. That's gone.
I know, but there's so much nonsense.
But give credit where credit's proven. They've changed that. It has to be recognized. It has to be voted.
I'll give you one. We agreed to do a licensing to actually be able to have a school to get your license at the association.
Great idea. Never came through, right?
They never did it. And a lot of brokerages said, because they use it as ways to recruit, we're against it. And I was like, we send brand new agents that want into the wild.
And
GLVR sanctioned.
Here's my question. Why wasn't it done? If you voted it into your strategic plan and you have it in the minutes, why isn't something like that followed through?
And here's where I'll be an apologist to the staff. Each year, each president moves this thing in a million different directions. And I'm okay if one president wants to go northeast a little bit, and the next president wants to go true north.
Yeah, but
let's
not beat against. Let's not jerk around here. Does the next president don't want to go through with this because they have a school in their company, because then you're voting on personal agenda and not what's best for the membership. Does that school take money out of the pocket of the people on the board if they're teaching? That's
Potentially,
not,
potentially the next two presidents, one that I'm aligned with, one that I'm not.
yeah, but
Potentially
that's
the
not
next
the
two.
way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that this was voted in and that we have this massive building and it was supposed to be used for that. So that, what you just brought up does not, as a member now, I'm talking as a member, does not make me happy because you said something was voted on, it was approved, and nothing was done on it. And that's where personal agenda comes into your vote. And that's where you need to recuse yourself and say, I cannot vote because my company that I work with has a school and it'll affect their income. I must recuse myself out of this vote. And then that's how it works. And that's sad. The point you just made is sad that with
But
the,
here's
go ahead.
what happens. Here's what happens. They'll say, well, Dave, you don't have a licensing school, so it doesn't affect you.
It
And then I'll
shouldn't
say,
be.
if I did, I'm sure I could do it better than this place. Don't even make me want to do it because I don't care. Or we can't even give prospects now, which is a CRM, for free to the membership without brokers or people going, you're getting in the way of our business model. And I say, how does helping all realtors across the board hurt your business model? We're in the business of making every single member have a chance to be a better realtor.
Okay, so one of the positives the board has done is they have put their board of directors meeting that we could all watch it. And
Well,
there is a board of directors meeting tomorrow. I am going to bring up what happened to the school. I'm going to bring that up because
they're
you,
going to be wearing white shoes and dancing around.
well, they could dance all they want. I'm going to ask that question directly because that is a member benefit that is not only strong to our existing members, but uber strong that we know that the new members get taught right. And some of the things that are going on in the schools right now that I have to recommend to our new agents is horrendous. It's horrendous and shouldn't be
Well,
allowed.
there's another. So each thing has a caveat. So I don't want to get too much into school, but then we were like, we got to make sure that it's not just taught by Georgia at Urban Nest, because that's an unfair advantage for Urban Nest if Georgia's teaching pre-licensing, right? So we would have to hire outside people to teach it, actual instructors to teach it, right? So that it's not an unfair advantage.
That's
So,
fine. That's fine. And none of that is hard. And if they say, well, we're not doing it because of what happened with COVID or we stopped, well, how come all the rest of the schools are open and teaching our agents?
so back to the point where these are all interesting things, but then that's why you need the strategic. So like, for instance, with our strategic plans, it's easy to get between the 3 months, new opportunities come up, new situations of the day, and then you get pulled aside. Priority number one needs to be the front facing side. Then priority number two, like for instance, I fought for ages and pandemic finally brought it home and Wendy's done a good job. You shouldn't have to go into the association to do anything.
No,
You should be able to pay
look
on
at the division now. You don't have to go in at all. Everything is now automated.
only 30 years late, but we're there, right?
Again, never look back, look forward.
So back to the original plan, if you had this implementer, if you will, with you the entire time, with two consultants from other companies, that's why having the commercial people on the board has been such a benefit for so many years, because the commercial people aren't stuck in all of this drama and they're usually the voice of reason because they're not involved in the residential world, right? Remember, I mean, Chaim did a great job of this. Who else was
Bobby Miracle, Robin Sivich, they were all been
Bobby's
Robin's
mom?
second time
I
on.
can't think of Bobby's mom's name right now. I can't think of her name.
I am the old one, you're saying, and you can't think
I
of
love
it.
her. I can't think of her name. What's her name?
I'm not telling you.
You can't remember it either. That's the truth. You can't remember her name. Oh my God, I'm getting old. What's her name?
It's not Miracle.
I know. You're getting old. You see, you tried to deflect, you little shit. You tried to deflect. Nice smile, by the way. Nice smile. What is her name? She's gonna kill us. She's gonna kill us. Oh my God. I can't think of it.
I'll give you a hint. Susie.
It is Susie, right?
Oh my God.
I can't think of it.
Susie Jones Walker.
That's it. God.
And you're saying I didn't know the name, but it's okay.
Yeah. So
Susie Jones. Yeah.
that's why it's so important. So these things can be fixed. Hopefully they are. Hopefully they focus on what matters. And, you know, I thought I went through the ringer years ago dealing with what I had to deal with in a volunteer position. People want to win so badly. And, you know, we're getting at the time. I want to leave just a little moment for market update, but you know, it comes down to, we talk about this all the time, Dad. It comes down to alignment and performance. And if you really want to break it down, it's values and money, results. And what's happening in not just our association, not just in politics, but in the world, unfortunately, money is going above values. And when values don't win, everyone starts selling out and they start compromising their integrity and they start making some bad decisions. And significance is part of that as well, right? And, you know, you can't be a great leader if you're not going to be honest and vulnerable and willing to do what's right over what benefits you the most.
When I used to walk out as president as a board and in the boardroom of the day, I said, did we do the best we could for our membership? Was every vote I did unbiased? And believe me, some of the votes could have benefited Urban Nest, and I would not vote that way. Did we do the best we could for everybody? If you could walk out with a clear head, did I vote on my own mind rather than going in there saying, we're going to vote this way as a group or clique? None of that happened in our board of directors meetings or yours, because I knew yours. And we're going a little off course, and we got to straighten that ship out for our future to be great. So that's what I will leave on the board situation. We got to straighten it out. Personal agendas need to leave the room, and the best for our membership has to become our number one priority.
And you got to be willing to walk out with some self-respect. And that, you know, that room has a way of exposing who you really are.
Dave for president, recycle. You, not me.
Better chance of seeing Jesus. Not happening. Ever. Ever. And it's not, first of all, I don't believe in getting in the way of future leaders. And second, like, you know, I don't want to say I'm done, but I feel like I can support the people I think can get it done. And you and I, and what we're creating here with 500 Urban Nest warrior Spartans, we can make a bigger effect of change than we could.
Could we do a movie 500, like the 300, and all of us be in Spartan uniforms?
Yes. Arcadian, what are you?
We have some warriors.
I'm a blackjack dealer. Nesters, what are you? Hooah! Right? So that's where we're at. And listen, like, if you don't think that the next 3 to 5 years is going to change this industry, because this is the biggest picture of all. While we're bickering, major companies are getting tech valuations with billions with a B, when they're not even closing deals. Realogy closes more business than all of them combined and has the least valuation. Zillow doesn't close a single deal and has a $20 billion valuation. That's the crazy world we live in. So, I do the class, the 5 things to future-proof your business, regardless of what the market's doing. But that's just to protect yourself and protect the business you do.
Hey, Dave, you're teaching that Buffini class, and I'm getting the feedback, and everyone's in love with you now and saying how great it is. Can I get a pass to that class and come watch you?
Oh, you know what you would do? You'd be on the phone the whole time, in the bathroom. You wouldn't even pay attention. So he's doing a shameless plug. I do 2 hours. It's not even a Buffini class. We listen.
No, I'm not even doing it. I'm telling you the results I'm getting. The agents are calling me to tell me how much they're loving it. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, we subsidize people doing Buffini training, which is relationship based, and then I filter it through my own frame. And I do 2 hours. Like, we don't talk about Buffini. We talk about buyers, sellers, negotiations, lead generation, goal setting, time management setting, where to spend your money. I said negotiation, right? I mean, everything. It's all of it. And we have a high level conversation. And I commit 2 hours a week to our agents. I don't share it with the whole world as a marketing tool. It's for us, by us, right?
And I could say, to give a market update, I'll give you Urban Nest update. We have more homes in escrow right now due to all these programs than we've ever had in our 8.5-year history. So kudos, thank you, agents. Thank you, Georgia, Jen, and Dave, and a little bit of me for doing what we're doing.
Listen, baby, you're the show pony. We trot you out. You're the with those teeth. I mean, you're even perfect. Like, we just put you out front. In 20 years,
they're not as white as you did see me. They're not as white as the.
I mean, don't put a black light by you. If you ever pass in 25 years, I'm gonna stuff you like Weekend at Bernie's, and I'm still gonna push you out there for
episode number 1064, and I won't be alive. All righty then.
You just be there, right?
I'll be there. Okay, some other things too. Some pets.
Where are we with how many agents we got now?
452.
It is still that? Okay. So 48 more spots. Now there'll be some changes. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure we'll hire more than 48. Who knows how many people leave the business next year or whatever.
There's some people going to retire. So we want to do a market update, and that's sort of my field. So I could tell you that houses are going into escrow tremendously fast. It's a seller's market, but there's one thing I'm going to clear with all the people out there giving your opinion. The interest rate, we're talking to an agent that bought a new home. He just locked at 2 3/4. Another one did a 15-year at 2.5. If you're out there and you're thinking of buying, clear the nonsense. Here it is. 30 years at 2 3/4 or 30 years at 2.5 or even 3 will maybe never happen again in our lifetime. If you are buying a house, buy now. Because if the market drops a little, the gloom and doom is, oh, we're going to lose 40%. I don't care. If it's your primary house, it'll go up and down. The bad thing about having 43 years in this business is I'm old. The good thing is I've seen that go like this all my life. That interest rate is making affordable to you homes you could never afford before. Buy now at that interest rate. If the market goes down and it's your house, live through it. Live through it. It is by far the best time to buy than all my 43 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fighting it, but I'm going to end up buying a second home. Like I just know it, and I'm going to ride it out. Now I have some ancillary or other motivations for doing it business wise, but I'm going to do it because who cares? I got at 2.75. And what may happen is, listen, we can't predict the future. We can only take best guesses. Anyone who tells you what they know what's going to happen, just report them because they're lying to you. No one has the crystal ball. But if I had to guess, I think we're going to see continued growth. I think it's going to get insane before it gets worse. So always, it's how you do something, that it's not what you say, sometimes it's how you say it, right? So it's not what you buy, it's how you buy it. If you put 20-30% down, you get a fantastic rate, and you see 10% appreciation over the next year, 2 years, 3 years.
And then even if it goes down 5%, who cares?
Even if it go down 15 and you're down 5%, you got the 10 on the rise, you go down to 15, you're still only down 5, but you put 20% down and your 2.75 rate is fantastic. You're never going to be, you go by.
As I said, 43 years. I think it's going to be, it goes by Dave's birthday. I have never seen that rate. When you were born, Dave, I had A credit, 20% down, conventional loan, and 77, I paid 8.5%, 2 3/4. Guys, oh my God, I can't say enough.
Even 6 is compared to 6 or 5. That's insane. I mean, I got a 4.5 rate, and I'm going to go to Chase and just say, just rate and term this down to 2.5, right?
Right.
Like, why wouldn't I? It's insane. So Angie's going to love this, my wife, if she's watching this, because she knows that after Gianna's born, we're all getting in the car with Gianna and Ella and Lola, and we're going to go up to Utah and buy something, whether it's in Salt Lake or whether it's in Park City or somewhere in between the two. And we're just going to do it, right? Like
A
that's
vacation home for me.
so cool up there. Who would have known? Utah and me. What a match.
And they have a front-facing website that Brandon told us is very successful.
Let me tell you something about Utah. I don't know. I know Kenny is on top of it. Kenny Parcell, great man. But I'm curious how their board is run, because their cities, their major cities, they are ahead of the game. I was reading some stuff. They rather during the recession, rather than wait for the government to give them subsidies for their roads, they built them themselves. They self-funded it, saved hundreds of millions of dollars because they got better deals during the recession. The people running Utah are doing a good job. They're forward thinking. They're the Silicon Slopes, right? That's what they're called. And that's the way a well-run organization, company, family, even a family needs to have strategic goals and growth. It has to be done this way. So, is what it is. I like this meeting today, Pops. You were did you get what
I'm alive.
I don't want to bring politics in it, but before the Dave and Dave show, they give him a shot in the ass, and he's boom, he knows all the questions before they ask.
It's because I'm taking my vitamins.
You're definitely
I'm taking DC and a little magnesium, and they're helping me. So now I'm walking, I'm pumped. Our meetings in the Nest this week have been absolutely phenomenal. Yesterday's meeting of the broker roundtable, George's mentee meeting. Today we did a managers meeting. We have meetings till you're blind, but I just love the vibe. Like you say, our company has to reinvent itself. We are on such a positive energy vibe that it's filtering through to all of us.
You're either growing or dying. There's no stagnation. Stagnation is dying. So you're continually investing in who you are and making it a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If the board needs anything, it needs an enema, like nobody's business. It needs to be, someone needs go in there and just clean the house. And I don't know who's going to do it, but I'll tell you what.
We'll know in 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Finish strong. Vote for Christina if you're watching and you haven't. I know there's about 30 of you left on here and about another 100 or so they'll probably watch it before 2 o'clock. You know, I do
Christina, Yared, and Brandon to make the board
but I
a
will tell you,
stronger place.
I do one-on-ones with our top producers, right? Ben, Faith, Azim, Christina, a ton of them, right? And when Christina and I do a one-on-one, there is not, I call her unstoppable force because she is so focused and driven. And when she puts her mind to something, she gets it done.
Yeah.
And it's an infectious way. It's such a positive way because she put her mind to her house and she's changing it. She put her mind to becoming WCR president. Her goals on being a producing agent, she's
off the charts. Off the charts.
These are the type of people we need. I know someone.
And you want to know the good part, Dave? She is a good person. She is a fair person. And she's an honest person. Oh my God, to be that successful in life and to be those three things brings all the admiration I could give to a person.
Whereas, and I don't want to go in the mud, but fair is fair. Sometimes people need a clap back, which means a little like, you know, maybe this is above your pay grade and you should sit this one out, buddy. Someone made their 12 myth and facts post, and I was like, they did more posts than they did transactions in the last 5 years. Maybe a little humility should run into this.
Yeah.
I know you don't like.
I don't want to get into that. I want to say for my parting shot, good luck to all. The elections are tough. You went in there and you jumped to run. So kudos for putting yourself out there. Good luck to everyone. Vote, because just like in our presidential election, if you don't vote, you really should have nothing to say. And in the end, I hope we land up with a group that will do a lot, accomplish a lot, and represent the members to their best ability. So that's my parting shot on the election.
All right, before I do my parting shot, I want a little bet. I'm not going to bet on who wins. I don't think that's appropriate. But how about on how many people vote in the election? Not, I think.
All right, I'm going to have a little faith, and I'm going to say 3,000.
I was going to give you an over-under.
Go ahead. I love over and unders.
So it's usually, I've seen it, you know, because we get to see the results when we're president. I think we show everyone the results now.
Yeah, we do. Everyone sees them. And we don't vote by a piece of paper. It's electronic. It can't be corrupted. Go ahead.
And little known fact, every vote counts. Chris Bishop won by 9 votes for president.
Yeah.
9 votes, which is basically 5 people deciding over him over somebody else. 5 people go the other way.
He loses.
Right? So your vote really counts. Usually about 2,500 to 2,700 people vote.
Yeah.
If I set the over-under at 4,000, is that too big of an over-under?
It is.
All right, 3,500?
I would say the over-under, you know, we're so involved in it that we say, oh, everyone's going to vote, and then everyone else looks at it and blows it away. But it is a presidential year, so voting is in the mind. So 3,500 is probably a fair number.
I'll take the over.
I'll take the under.
I figured. I was going to sabotage myself. With Jeff Zoller, I took the over at 4,000. I think there's going to be a lot of people voting both in the real election and this election because I just think.
I can only say this. You can't knock Urban Nest for not trying to get you to be involved and to vote, because we have put out emails, participate. And when Dave was 18, and he hates this story, he didn't vote for president, and he had the right, and he gave opinions. And I would say to him, Dave, your opinion is nothing to me. You didn't vote. I swear to God, he has never missed an election since then. And I say it to you, do not bitch to me, because if I look it up and you didn't vote, you don't have a right for an opinion. So
Agreed.
you have been a voter in this country ever since. And I hope that the 18-year-olds in the general election that realize that they cry a lot and they have every right to cry, go out there and vote. I saw a TikTok where an 18 got up with such passion and such points. And I was so proud of this girl for saying why she's voting for the person she is. It was great to see that.
Yeah, and I mean, and listen, like if you don't know the issues, that's what we're here educating you about. It's one opinion. You know, if you think me and my dad don't have a good opinion, fine. That's okay too. But if you do appreciate and respect our opinion and you don't have time to vote, then take our advice. You know, I mean, yes, Christina's our agent, so we are biased. Brandon and
Yeah,
Yoretta,
yeah, they are not our agent. And Christina and Brandon and Yared, we went over why we're voting for them. We didn't just say vote for them. We gave their leadership capabilities, their experience capabilities, and the fact that the most important, they'll vote the way they believe, not in a group and not to be convinced. They'll vote what they believe. Independent thinker, most important of a member.
which would be great if we had in normal elections too, because all I hear is both sides just regurgitating the party line. Go read, go get involved, and go see for yourself, right? And Pope Francis is going to give the blessing. Little Pope Francis is going to give the blessing also. You're like, here's my Pope. You know, I haven't.
The bobblehead.
He's the Pope.
Yeah, but he's a bobblehead.
Even though I am a heathen, I have been confirmed and I am a Catholic. I do like the Pope Francis. I think he's one of the best. He makes me. I was at the Vatican, so we also give our Pope Francis blessing to a bunch of other candidates too. We really, you know, those three are the required, we believe, that you must vote for. But some other great candidates: Stephanie Grant, Randy Hatada, Shane Wynn, Keith Kelly. Even I'm getting to
Ellie
watch.
Morris.
Who?
Ellie,
great. Even Paul Rich, I didn't reach out to him, but I've been watching him around. I like his vibe. I like, there's a lot of people that hopefully, if they don't win, they get involved in some other way, whether it be a chair of a committee or grievance position or a volunteer position, where reach out to the president, reach out to Aldo, and reach out to whoever wins this year and say, I want to become involved. We've been marketing it out, marketing as with email blasts, this saying, and it's, many are called, but few are chosen. So if you hear that calling, choose yourself and step up. And Pops is right. Even if I don't agree with your values, I do respect the fact that you put yourself out there and you go for it. I do. But if you're going to be a leader, be true to yourself. Be someone that someone you respect would be proud of. Be someone that your children would be proud of, and be someone that you're proud of. So that's all we got for you today. And we went a little long. Pops, keep smiling. Talk to you later.
bye.